Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Dellerman with Group Travel Odyssey, and I want to thank you for joining us today once again. Before we get started on today's topic, which is an absolutely great topic today, I do want to remind you, if you've not done so yet, if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure to click below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. When you hit subscribe, if you ring the little bell, you'll be notified anytime we have new content on our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Group Travel Odyssey, and also make sure to like our Facebook page, Group Travel Odyssey, as well. Well, today we are going to be talking about some new information, some new processes that we have for Group Travel Odyssey. And in order for us to do that, I'm going to be bringing on our esteemed director of Group Travel Odyssey, Corey Vries. Corey, welcome.
Hello. Happy New Year, Jim.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Corey and I got to spend some time together last week with several of our fantastic coworkers in Nashville, Tennessee for the American Bus Association Marketplace. So it's good to see you again. It was nice to be in person and spend some quality time together and do some really great business. There'll be more information coming on our YouTube channel about everything that we learned, that we did at American Bus Association. So stay tuned for that as well. But Corey, today we're going to be talking about some new processes that we have built in GTO. Today is about the passenger portal. So what is the passenger portal?
So what we've done is we've taken a little bit of a step back from other ways to get passengers into our system. And we wanted sort of a no-frills alternative way for people who don't have other ways to get passenger information to the passenger and passenger information to the system itself. And we took a little bit of a different approach. A lot of times when you're having a passenger sign up for your trip, they go to the trip and sign up for that trip. And if they do multiple trips for you, then they're going to sign up every time they sign up for a trip. So let's say you're a student operator and a parent has several kids coming through that school. Then they have to sign up every time for a trip and enter in all their information. And we at Group Travel Odyssey are big about having to enter in information once, if that's possible. If you're an adult operator and you've got, Martha sits at home and does all your trips, she does one a year, and we can have her create an account and then sign up for trips, as opposed to just entering in information and entering in information. So we've created our passenger portal. The homepage will probably look a little different than we have it today, but this is basically what it will look like, our passenger portal. You'll know you're there because it literally says the GTO passenger. Oh, I'm going to have to share my screen because I do this all the time. I'm going to get Jim for not interrupting me earlier in my spiel. But let's go if we can. There we go. To our passenger portal. So here we are. We're looking at the passenger portal. It says GTO passenger at the portal. And you basically have a login, an email address, a password. And if you forgot your password, you can ask. Or if you create an account, you can create an account. Now, I've already created an account for this, so I'm not going to do that. But when you press that button, it's just going to ask you to fill out your first name, your last name, an email address, and a password. Then it's going to bring you right back to the screen to log in. Now, before we move any farther forward, I want to bring you then to Passenger Manager in GTO. So when you're using Passenger Manager, and here's a trip, we're using the GTO testing account Mariachi Denver. And you'll see that it has passengers on it. We've done a lot of testing on this. So that's why you see the same name over and over again as we add people to the list. You'll also notice that, but I want you to be aware that you can see that these passengers are here. We're going to check to make sure our passengers come over when we sign up. So we've got this trip here. Now, you'll also notice that there's a trip code for your passenger portal. So we're going to come back to this in just a second, but right here, you're going to say, get the trip code for the passenger portal. That's because since we're going to sign up on the portal, A, you want them to be able to sign up for multiple trips, and B, you don't want someone signing up for a trip unless you've given them the code. which can be as simple as putting it at the top of your brochure, sending an email to them. There's just many different ways to do that. It could be a code that they see on your website or something of that nature. So let's go back then into our portal. Now, I signed up with our QB address, so I'm going to go ahead and type in qb@gtonetwork.com. I already have my password, which I may or may not have just typed in correctly.
We will find out.
The hard way, unfortunately. Yep, I just didn't type it in right.
Glad I'm not the only one who does that.
Yeah, the nice thing, now everybody knows why I call them instead of typing them out in email. And so here's your home screen. Here's your home screen. By the way, I am signed in as Abraham Lincoln, and I can update my email or update my password, or I can delete my account at any point in time. So you can go to the settings to do that. But I am signed up as Abraham Lincoln here, just so you know. Now, the first thing you'll notice is our different cards: passengers, payments, documents, trip finder, and my bookings. And also one for portal instructions. So all the things I'm about to show you today are going to be right here in this area. So if you ever want to know about, like how to do this again, please go to the portal instructions. We hide them by default because once you get used to using our system, you don't need them anymore. So it's kind of in the way otherwise. So we're going to hide those. The first thing you want to do is set up your passengers. So if you're a parent, you might set up your children. But if you are an adult and it's you and your wife, or you and your husband, or you and your kids, and you can add as many passengers as you want. So if you have a kid in school now and they graduate out and you've added another kid later, that's all good. You can add as many passengers as you want. So I'm going to add passengers. The thing is, you have to be sure to include yourself if you want to be included as a passenger. So I'm going to add myself as a passenger. I'm Abraham Lincoln today. My preferred name is Abe. And I live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's in Washington, D.C. It's interesting. I never thought about the fact that I have to think about the District of Columbia. There we go. And I forgot the zip code there, but we're going to call it 22222. Oh, it's because I don't need an email, or I don't need a middle name. I need the rest of my stuff. I can't remember if he was born on the 20th or we just celebrate it, but we're going to add him in here. He's an adult. And his email is abe@thewhitehouse.com. Now you could put phone numbers in here as well as emergency contact name, but now I've done all that I need to do to add myself. So I'm going to go ahead and add myself. Here I am as a passenger. I'm going to go ahead and add my wife. You may know her as Mary Todd Lincoln. And if you'll notice, by the way, that the other information filled out automatically, so you just need to change it. Still going to be the same email address.
As you're going through this and adding these passengers in, we do have a question that has come in, and I know we'll probably be going through this in a bit, but does this system, or will this system, be able to collect payments as well as some of the other payment portals that are out there?
Well, I will tell you that questioner is going to have to wait for the grand finale.
That's going to be part of the grand finale. Okay,
that's right. The edge of your seat. You got to stick around for that answer, which is yes. So okay. I'm going to go ahead and add Mary. So now we're both here on this trip, and I'm done with adding passengers. It's just going to be the two of us. So now I have my 2 passengers, and you'll notice I don't have anything else, but I do want to use my trip finder to find the trip that we're going on, which, if you recall, is the GTO testing account for Mariachi Denver. Now, as a tour operator, I'm going to go ahead and hit this get trip code. It's going to open up this dialog box that pretty much is just a time waster to let something happen in the background. And when I X out of it, this is going to refresh, and there's going to be a code here. It's a 6-letter number code, right? I'm going to go ahead and pick it. I'm just going to copy it for right now. But somehow I've gotten that from my tour operator, and I'm going to place it here in the system to make sure that space is out of there. It's going to find the trip. Now look at this, the GTO testing Mariachi. It tells me that my booking deadline, all these dates are passed, by the way, but it tells me when the trip is, the booking deadline, the cancellation deadline, and what the deposit is. It's going to ask me who's coming. Abraham and Mary coming, just Abraham, just Mary, who knows? It doesn't matter. But I'm going to pick us both for fun. And we're both going to get the double package. And when I've selected the package type, which comes straight out of Passenger Manager, I'm going to go ahead and confirm my booking. What this will do is a couple of things. One is it will tell me that I've already booked this. So if I accidentally put in this number again, the 6-digit code, it's going to tell me I'm already booked. And then I'm going to see my bookings over to the side. So here's my booking, and I can view it. And it tells me, sure, Abraham Lincoln and Mary Lincoln. Now, if you have extra information that you want Abraham and Mary to give you for your trip, you would put it here to fill out the information. Now, right now, we just have the same questions that we've already asked because you haven't told us what it is you want them to know. Like, you have to tell us what it is you want them or what you want to know from them, like allergies or whatever other information you're going to collect for that trip. It's not standard because each of our companies may have a different list of things to ask for. Or the trip may dictate it. If you're traveling overseas, you may need to ask different information than a domestic trip. So this is now trip-based when you've got it. So I'm going to close that out. Thank goodness we're all taken care of. Now, here's the greatest part is if I come back to Passenger Manager and I refresh this page and I come down to my passengers, you'll notice that Mary and Abraham were both added to the double passenger list. And that we are ready to pay for this. Female, male. Our ages are 223 years.
I also like that it's marked as new. So that way, when our GTO users go in there, they will be able to see who the new passengers or new registrants are when they go every time that they log into that trip. So that's nice.
Yeah, and you know it'll do it by package. So when I chose double, the double will come over. You'll also, if we were going to make any transactions, those transactions would show up here. To prove it, in our tests, we did tests with $1, of course. So you can see those those payments came through. It would also give, the participant's name. You can also add fundraising in directly if you wanted to. That's how we did that. That's a Passenger Manager thing. We're not going into that today, but you can see that these payments were made probably to a person who is no longer available because they were test. And these dollars came through as we did our testing. So let's go find out how you would pay those things, which is in your payments section, check your upcoming payments, view the schedule. Now, you'll notice here that what we have is Abraham has 4 payments that need to be made. 3 for $1 each, and then the last one for $372. Obviously, we were testing our payment system, so we lowered them so we could afford it, because if we tried to test 10 times and all of our trips were $500, we would be out of money by then. So, and you'll notice that Mary has the same thing. And you can have some flexibility now in paying. So, for instance, I can press the button that says pay full amount for all passengers. When I do that, we're going to go to group experience, and you'll notice that I'm paying for 2 double full prices, $750. I fill out my information, paid. Those transactions will come over and mark paid in the system. When I go back, let's say I messed that up. I didn't want to do that. I just want to pay the deposits for each. So I'm going to go to Abraham and Mary, and I'm going to pay the selected installments. Now what's going to happen is we're going to come over here and we're going to find that I owe $2. One for Abraham, one for Mary. I'm going to fill out my information, pay it. It's going to come over as a transaction so that you can keep track of those. But the nice thing here is that I can instead pay as many as I want to, up to 6. So if I wanted to, I could pay these 3 today and these 3 today. You're saying, well, what if I wanted 4? Well, now you're paying the full amount. So, I mean, if you wanted to pay all 4 for each, you're pretty much paying the full amount. So you press the full amount. But you can only do 6. It says it right here. You don't have to remember. It says up to 6 installments to pay at once. But let's just choose 2 of them. So we're going to choose the first and the second payment. When I say pay the selected amounts, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to get 4 of them. 2 deposits and 2 installments for now a total of $4. Fill in my card information, and I've got that ready to go. The nice thing is that Group Travel Odyssey can send out payment reminders. So if you want to have payment reminders set up, we can do that, and then they can come in here and pay at any point in time. So these were, of course, all past due because this was a trip that we made up a while back. But as you approach these dates, you can have a reminder sent by email to these people, to the person who's in charge of the portal, and then they come and pay them. So that's how the pay works. Now, if you just wanted to pay one of them, right? Like I can press the pay now button, and I'm just gonna pay that one. So you can do it that way, and you can have like I said, you can have as many passengers as you want. So, you can pay them all. If all 3 of or all 4 of you are going, you can pay those things over time. So that answers the question, can you pay through our system? Absolutely. The only thing that you can't do, and as you work with other payment systems, you'll notice that this is true there too, is you can't just create a number like I want to pay $300 of the 372 just because I want to. Lots of payments systems don't allow that, and we don't allow that either. You have to either choose deposit, like an installment, or pay the full amount. So that's how you do that. If you have a problem,
they're preset amounts that are listed in as you're building the trip. Basically, those are what they're able to pay. They can't just write in a figure.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
that's exactly right. And this, by the way, is your payment schedule that you set up in your trip.
Great.
So it's exactly what the tour operator said. Well, these are the things these are the times that we need these things to be paid. Now, the nice thing again is that you can do multiple trips as well. So if you've got 3 trips and Mary and Todd, or Abraham and Mary want to go on those 3 trips. One's in January, one's in April, and one's in August, right? They can be paying on those all at the same time in one spot. So now they don't have to go to the 3 different trips to pay. They can pay in this spot for all 3 trips at one time. And basically, when you're viewing the schedule, you'll see this trip, and then below that, you'll see another trip. So you could click one here, go down to the next trip and click another one. So you could pay the deposits on all 3 trips if you wanted to, as long as it does not add up to more than 6 installments. Then you are set to go. And of course, if you need to contact us, there is a contact support button. If I press that, you enter in your information and you hit submit. And you're set to go. The last thing I want to mention, and this is, again, because the trip is a test trip, we don't have any of these things. But if you want to transfer information to passengers, documents is what we call them at the moment, but you want to get them a final itinerary. If you're on a school trip, you probably don't want to do that. If you're on an adult trip, you might want to get them the final itinerary. So the documents portion then is a place where you can then transfer information to a passenger. If you wanted them to, like if they needed to fill out a form and e-sign, you could put the link to the form that they would want to go and e-sign online, like however you want to do that, you can now get that information to them by this documents tab right here. We don't have any because it's a test trip, but do know that that is available for you.
That's great for retail trips, that way they can, if they're not just traveling in one big group that's actually built this trip for, that way all of the participants can actually have a copy of the itinerary and stuff. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and because we don't want them to, let me put it this way. If you have somebody that wants to cancel a trip, they will need to contact you to do it. So you'll notice in the instructions that to cancel a booking or request a refund, they're going to contact your tour provider directly. Because what we don't want is you assuming someone's going to be on the trip, they cancel in our system and you just don't notice it. Like, what if they cancel like right before and you're paying for everything? So what we've done is we've made it to where you have to actually cancel it. They can't. They have to contact you directly to do that. Again, because we don't want them to just cancel and you not notice it and you not see it.
Right.
I mean, we can have notifications sent, but that's not the same as actually contacting somebody to cancel a trip. Now, you'll notice a lot of white space on this page. One thing I can tell you is this can be used on a mobile device. So all your portal stuff can be done that way. If they, let's say they had and what's nice is for customers, for travelers, let's say you're an adult tour provider and the adults take a trip with you. And then there is a student tour operator that takes your kid's school to Washington, D.C. If they both use this system, then you can come on here and pay for all the trips in the same thing because it's passive, it's customer based, not trip based. So they don't have to go then to this website and this website to pay. They'll pay all their trips that are coming out of Group Travel Odyssey right here, whether it's the same company or not, which I think is a cool feature for people. As GTO grows and parents take trips with one company and students take trip with another company because the companies don't mix, then you're still paying all your stuff. You're still getting all your documents. You're still seeing all your bookings in one travel space. And since this is like version 1.0, you can see a lot of white space on here that will be filled with other different things as we grow. But we wanted to get this out there. Some tour operators need a no frills, no bells and whistles, no marketing sort of thing. Like, we want a way for you to have people pay and sign up for trips but if you need some sort of marketing of trips, this is not the place for you, right? This is
an easy registration for them. This gives them the option to actually handle individual registrations through the GTO system very simply and efficiently. So, that and the fact that it's attached to Passenger Manager, and one of the things you all notice is as you start seeing these portals show up, the portals are all individually facing. So it's like this portal is for the person who's registering for the trip. All of the Passenger Manager, on the road apps, things like that, all of the management things are what you as a tour operator are going to handle. So the portals are passenger driven, and then the applications and the managers are all GTO driven.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Questions coming up here.
Excellent.
Let's see. Is this included in our current subscription price? It is.
That is correct. It is, but you will need to contact us. So there's setup that has to be done here. So it's not just usable until you've contacted us to use it. We have to set up payment system, payment pathways and things of that nature. There are
Mhm.
steps involved, so you can't just start using it. You got to actually sign up with us first. But it is included in your current price.
And also, if a group is on group pay, does this still work as a registration portal?
Absolutely, it does. In
Great.
fact, payments are a sideline issue to this. So you can, if you're having a group pay and you just need a a way to get passengers to sign up for your trip, then this is good too. Again, no bells, no whistles. It's just here for you to use. So the payments would just say zero, by the way, because there's no payment
Right.
schedule for them.
And one more question on this. Is this based on pricing created in Sales Manager? Yes. So the pricing that and the pricing schedule or the payment schedules that you create in Sales Manager, that's what appears then as your deposit and your installments and your final payments. So those are based on what you're creating as you're building the trip in GTO Sales Manager.
Yes, and to be just a little clearer, you set them up in Sales Manager, but you could have adjusted them somewhere along the line, right? I mean,
Right.
like the payment could have changed from when you sold the trip. The pricing, and there is a way, by the way, to change that final number for those companies that have to sort of see how many passengers come in before setting the final number. There is a way to alter that,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll train you on that when you sign up for this. But you could have changed all those prices and dates since sales, but it started in
Right.
sales. That is where it was originally, created.
Cool. And we have a couple more here. Since it is handling payments, is there a CC processing fee? And also, is there a way for people to pay by ACH?
So let me grab a couple of these, and I'll show you. So there is a fee, and it's going to be the Stripe fee here at this point in time. When you pay there is not a way at the moment to do an ACH payment, though I think that will come soon. It's just there isn't at the moment. There's just a way to pay with card. Again, sort of no frills on our first outing. We wanted to get this up and working for a lot of people because student tour season is coming up, and we wanted to have this available as quickly as we could. So right now it's just card, no ACH. But that can change. So stay tuned for that as we kind of get farther down the road.
Cool. And does this now? And if it doesn't, will it? Does this have functionality to add on a build optional selection such as insurance?
So the answer to that one is if there is so the answer right now is no, unless you have it in the payments. Like you could have, like if you have a payment for it, then it will show up here. But again, no frills. So insurance will come with time. That would be over here in this documents section where you would pay for it. Like you would say, if you'd like insurance, this is where you would go to pay for that insurance. So for that, I'd need part of the reason why this isn't built is because we don't know how you do your insurance yet.
So if they in this
every company is a little bit different,
right? And this is and another like follow-up question that came through with that is in that document section. Can they would they be able to put in a link to where the people can purchase travel insurance?
Okay. Correct, right. That's exactly right. And yeah, because so any links can go there that you want, especially insurance, because you want them to have that ability to do that. Absolutely.
Do you by chance know what the credit card fees are for Stripe?
I do not, but
Okay.
whoever that is welcome to email me, and I will send them.
Yeah, we will find that information out for you as well. And on that trip code that gets generated, is that something that is automatically generated, or do they, as the operator, generate it?
In fact, if you use another payment system, so if you use some out like a We Travel, If you're using WeTravel, you're not even going to see that code because it's not going to show up for you.
But it is,
Because
it is auto-generated within the system. Then it's not something
you
that
have,
they
you have to
generate.
press you have to press the button. You have to press this button right here.
Okay.
So and that's because, you know, when you want it, go get it. Right. I will also say though, and this was something I was going to mention, but because I can't show it to you, because if you notice, I don't have a group leader on this trip.
Right.
But this verification code shows up in the group leader portal for the group leader. So let's say you're doing a student trip and you're taking a chorus to Orlando. And what happens is you need to get this code to all the students in that chorus to sign up on our portal. Well, you don't, because what will happen is the group leader can go into the group leader portal and that verification code shows up, and then they can give that to their students and then they can sign up. So you don't have to do anything except press the button to get the code. But we don't want a verification code showing up unless you're not using another system. So if the system detects that you're using some other payment system, this button should not show up for you.
Okay, great. And I know y'all might have more questions after the fact. And as you watch this again, or if you, you know, as you're thinking about this, if you do have questions, you can be reached. Corey can be reached at Corey@gtonetwork.com. You can also contact our help desk, which is help@gtonetwork.com. And you can put in help in the subject line, just so that way it generates that ticket. But contact us if you do have more questions, because we do, you know, we want to continue this conversation. And as Corey mentioned, you know, this is something that this is 1.0. So, you know, this is something we're just launching now, and we do want feedback, and we want to know what you all need in order to make this work more efficiently for you as well. You know, we like, for example, David has a great question here. How do complimentary places register and not have to pay? So it's like, if you have the complimentary packages, how do they register for this? Great question, David.
Well, yeah, that is a good question. And you may have noticed that when I signed up for the trip, my passenger information went over immediately. So it didn't wait for me to pay. When I signed up for the trip, it didn't. What happened, though, is there's no transaction. So first of all, complimentary people can just register. We did that a little bit so that you could, if the credit cards somehow failed, right? So something didn't go through on their end to pay. They didn't hit the pay now button or the pay button. So that somehow they signed up for the trip, but the money didn't come through. You can match that up immediately and go, wait a minute, this person's on the trip, but didn't pay. So now you can contact that person and say, hey, this didn't work. You'll need to go in and pay this again. Because if it all failed, you'd never know they tried to sign up, because it wouldn't have come into GTO. So we tried to make a way to where you'd get the information that you need, and then if the payment doesn't come through. So a complimentary person would then be able to sign up without having to pay. And then what you would need to know is whether or not they were needing to be complimentary, right? We can't have a complimentary package there because everyone would sign up for it. But the group leader should be able to tell you, no. This is our complimentary package. And then
that would then be something that they could override as the tour operator. They would be able to override that, so it would show that they don't owe any money.
That's right.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Well,
yeah, this is great questions from everybody. And
yes.
I apologize. I at one point in time I did know the Stripe fee, but we've been so past that now as far as our development goes. The Stripe portion came pretty easily, so I'm not really sure anymore what the credit card fee is. I should have written it down. I apologize, but I will make sure that I get that fee to you all, so you know how much it is.
Great. Wonderful. Well, you know, honestly, for everybody out there, you know, thank you for watching. Thank you for all of the great questions that you have posed today. We really appreciate that. And as we always say, your feedback is kind of what draws us into all of this. So I know we've had quite a few people that have asked about ways that they can simplify registrations. And so that's why we wanted to actually come up with a registration portal or a passenger portal. So that way we can handle that within the system. It automatically goes into Passenger Manager. So you're not having to manually enter all of this passenger information. This is something that will automatically then go into Passenger Manager, and you'll have record of it. So, and as Corey said, then, once they've done this, their information will be in the system. They're not going to have to fill out these forms as passengers every single time either, because once they're in the system and have their login, they can go in and add, choose other trips and actually make it, it makes it easier for your travelers as well, because they can just go in, pick the trip, and start that whole process again. So, Corey, thank you so much for this. This is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has been a fun project to do. We've learned a lot about how to pay for things online. Not as easy as everyone assumes it is. And so it took us a little longer than we had wanted to. We were going to have it done before the end of the year, but I think 23 days past that is not too bad anyway. And hopefully we'll have some people that will want to use it. Because I think it's great. So thanks for letting me. And that's something else
for those of our community members that are actually watching and asking questions. If it is something you're interested in, let us know. And we can go ahead and get you signed up for this. So that way you can go ahead and start using it. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to us in any way possible, smoke signals included, doesn't matter. We will go ahead and make sure that you are ready for this and can go ahead and start using it as well. Coach and Go happens every other Tuesday at 2:00 Eastern time. So, look for us again in 2 weeks. Next week, we will have a GTO fast break. And that fast break is just a small snippet of information on things that are updated within the system. And those can be found in your community forum. So in GTO's community forum, take a look for that next Tuesday. And then we will join you again in 2 weeks from now. Corey, once again, thank you so much for all the information. Really, really appreciate it. And this is fantastic. And I'm glad we're ready to launch this, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people on board with it. So thanks again, Corey.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for watching. And don't forget, subscribe to that YouTube channel if you've not done so yet. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.